Here we go. So welcome everyone. Okay, we start in a comfortable seated pose. You can sit with your legs crossed if you like. You can also sit on a block or one of your books. I mean, another way to, another prop that you could use is just a pillow or a cushion or just a blanket that you fold up. It's quite nice to have the hips elevated, especially if you're working with tight hips like myself. And then place the hands onto your knees or in your lap, wherever it's comfortable. Just take a moment to lengthen out through the spine, start to sit upright and tall without having the shoulders in your ears, so relax them, gently roll them back. And then on the next exhale, just close the eyes. And just start to turn your awareness inwards. Feel the posture you're sitting in. Perhaps if you need to adjust, do so now. And then start to notice the breath. Notice the length of the inhale, the length of the exhale. Notice the chest and the belly and how they rise and fall when you're inhaling and exhaling. Notice if after a while you start to slouch, can you just keep that length in the spine through the crown of the head? And then slowly open the eyes. Excellent. If you're sitting on a block, you can remove that. So today we are going to move a lot. It's going to be very, very flowy, very repetitive, and very stretchy as well. Okay, so we're going to start with the neck. We're going to start circling the head. You can drop the chin into the chest bone and then very slowly roll it around, very slowly. You can use the breath as well, if you like. And I like to keep my eyes closed because otherwise I get very dizzy, but you can keep the eyes open if it is more comfortable. And then perhaps you can stop in areas where you feel a deep stretch and just really let go of the head to stretch out the opposite side of the neck. And then moving again a few times. And while you're really focusing on the head and the neck, don't forget about your spine. Keep it upright and tall. Again, if you feel a spot that likes this stretch, oh yeah, just stay there. Really let go of the head. Maybe taking a breath into it, a breath out of it, and then carry on moving the head. The next time your chin comes to the chest bone, you change sides, and then you start to move the opposite direction. And you might hear little clicks and cracks, and that's absolutely fine. Again, maybe stop if you feel a nice trigger point, maybe a certain area needs just a little bit more attention. You can hold it there for a breath, and then keep moving. Heavy head. And the next time the chin visits the chest, you stay there, keeping the head heavy. Place one hand against the forehead and then push the head back to center. Open the eyes. We're going to swap legs. Unless you're sitting in a different leg variation where you don't need to cross the ankles the other way around. And a little bit of a side stretch, again moving. So we're going to start on the left side. We're going to place the left hand onto the floor and the right arm sweeps up towards the ceiling. We take an inhale, lengthen through the fingers, and then on the exhale we lean into our left. And then on the next inhale we come up, right hand to the floor, left arm to the sky, palm faces to the right, and then we lean into the right. And then a few more with this. On the inhale you change, and then on the exhale you come deep into the pose. Carrying on, nice and slowly. Maybe looking under the armpit, the opposite armpit, when you're in the pose, just to make sure that you're stacking the shoulders and the chest stays open. Let's do one more on each side. And this is the last round. Slowly come back up. And then our twist. We're going to bring the left hand behind us, right hand onto the left knee. We take an inhale, lengthen, and then on the exhale, twist. Then back to center, and we swap sides. Right hand behind you, left hand onto the right knee, and we look behind us for a twist, and then back to the other side, nice and slowly. So below the waist, you're really static. Above the waist, you're flexible, twisting. You can use the head as well if it feels good. Looking over one shoulder and then the other. One more time. And then coming back to center. Extend the legs out into a straddle. Now once more, when you're sitting here and you feel that you're slouching a lot with your shoulders and you're rounding the back and it's really difficult to lift and lengthen, use either a cushion or maybe a smaller book to sit on, just to elevate the legs, and then suddenly it's a little bit easier. You can also soften the knees, although we're going to use the legs now a lot. I will get rid of this. So sitting upright and tall as much as you can. Now a couple of variations for this one. We will be doing some leg raises here to activate the muscles, the thighs, the hip flexors. You will feel in your lower belly as well. Throughout the practice, you can keep your hands behind you if it's more comfortable, or you can have one hand in the middle and the other hand on the other side of the leg. So turn to the left now. Again, hands either in front or behind you. You're going to feel straight away what you need to do with your arms. Flex the feet, and then we are going to just raise that left leg for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh. Other side. So I instantly feel it in my quads. Flex the feet. Like I said, you don't need to lock the knees. Hands may be behind you. Maybe you want to lean back slightly. Maybe you can bring the hands in front of you. Doesn't really matter. And then we start on the right now. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We come back to center, and this time we're going to use another block. Now you have the option to do this, a different variation, or you can just stick with the one that we've done. For this one, you can place the block right next to the foot on the left side. And then for this variation, we are just going to lift the foot and then circle around the block, and then back a couple of times. If this is too much, just get rid of the block and keep just lifting the foot like we did in the first variation. So when you're ready, remember, hands behind you or in front of you. Sit upright and tall as much as you can. And then we start for 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other side. If you want to challenge yourself even more, then use the tall block. I'm going to stick with the flat one. Or just get rid of the block and just simply lift the legs like we did. So when you're ready, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Remove the block. Bring the hands underneath the knees. Bring the knees high, feet flat on the ground. And just windscreen wipe with your knees from side to side a couple of times. Bring the feet a little bit closer, about hip width apart, and the heels a little bit closer to the hips. Hands behind you, reverse tabletop to stretch out the front of the thighs now. And then when you're ready, you press down. On the inhale, you lift your bum. Reach the belly and the chest to the sky. You can keep the chin tucking into the chest or release the head back. Squeeze the back of the thighs, the glutes. Lift your chest, lift the bum, and then slowly release. Excellent. 90-90 shape. We're going to have the left shin in front of us and the right shin next to us. It's called 90-90 because we want to have a 90 degrees angle, right angle in the front knee and the back knee. So the front shin is parallel to the top of your mat and the back shin is parallel to the side of the mat. You will feel that your right hip might definitely lift away from the floor. You also might feel that you need maybe a flat block or something to elevate your left side as well. It might feel just more comfortable. You can always just stop while we are doing the practice, the flow, and then you just adjust as you need to. We're going to start with the hands behind the head, elbows nice and wide. We're going to take an inhale, and then on the exhale, we lower the chest towards the shin. If this doesn't work, you can keep the hands on the floor and just support yourself with your arms. And then we come back. We're going to do it 10 times. So inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. 7 more. In, out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we hold it here. Hands onto the floor. Relax the chest onto the thigh, onto the shin as much as you can. And just hold it here for about 10-15 seconds. Relax the head. So this pose actually is like a little sister of half pigeon. It will work around your left hip now. If you can't feel anything in the right hip and the right side of the lower back, you can also walk the hand towards your foot and then guide the chest towards that front foot as well. So you're reaching away from your left side to exaggerate that stretch that I was talking about. And then slowly back to center if you were twisting a little bit and sit yourself up. Okay, one more exercise here. So we're gonna work with the back leg. You're gonna keep the right knee pushing down, so releasing onto the floor, but you will try and lift the foot away from the floor. We're gonna do it 10 times. I'm just gonna sit a little bit like this so you can see what's happening. I'm gonna demonstrate first. So you're sitting upright and tall. Your hands can be anywhere where you feel you're supported. And all we're gonna do is just 1, 2, and so on. You don't need to lift it too high. So make sure that it's still comfortable. You're gonna feel it somewhere around the hips. It really works good on the hip mobility. But you're gonna feel your glute strengthening and being very active. So when you're ready, back knee stays on the floor and we only lift the foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. And I'm going to turn back to you. And the twist, we're going to twist away from the back side. And then we're going to place the hands onto the left side and twist the chest, maybe looking over the left shoulder. Back to center. We swap legs. So right shin to the front, left shin beside you, or the opposite, if you've done this side already. Remember, front shin is parallel to the front of the mat, back shin parallel to the side of the mat. Right angle around 90 degrees angle in the front. And then we are going to start with the leaning forward and back. If you want to keep your fingers on the floor, that's fine. Otherwise, you can either lift your arms or place the fingertips behind the head. 10 times on the breath. So inhale and then exhale, we fall. Inhale, exhale, we fall. Five more. One more. And we hold it here, hands to the floor, and just relax. And again, if you don't feel anything on your right hip, right glute, you can start to guide the chest in line or in the direction of the front foot, maybe even taking hold of the foot and then gently pulling your upper body towards that foot. So we're gonna feel something on that right side. It doesn't need to be too much. It's always somewhere in between too much and too little. And then come back up. And now we will be working with the back leg, raising the back foot. So again, just turning around for you a little bit, keeping the back knee on the floor. We're only lifting the back foot away from the ground. Place your fingers, your hands, maybe blocks underneath the hands, wherever it's comfortable for you. And then we start. Knee stays on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm just going to turn back quickly. And then we twist away from the back leg. Twist into the right this time. You can place that left hand onto the side. Maybe you're reaching towards the floor. Doesn't matter. Make sure that the hands are supported by something, floor or your leg. And then start to twist away from the right. Looking behind you over the shoulder. And then back to center. Bring the legs in front of you. Feet flat on the ground, hands behind you. And we will spring right back in, but this time, just try to place the left knee to the ground first. And then swap. So that knee in the middle tries to reach down to the floor as much as you can. Knees face to one side, chest bone face to the front. Nice and slowly, so we can really focus on what we are feeling around the hips. Excellent. And now we're going to come onto our knees. I'm just going to turn the lights on a little bit. Here we go. Maybe pad up the mat for support for your knees. Kneeling down with knees about hip width apart. Hands onto the hips. And I'm going to come into camel pose, which is a back bend. So squeeze the belly in, gently push the hips forward, elbows trying to move towards one another. Lift the chest bone and then arch back. Instead of thinking about your lower back, how bendy that is, think about your chest bone reaching up to the sky. You're offering it up towards the ceiling while you're leaning back. Your hips push forward, elbows together. One more breath. And then sitting down, place the hands onto the knees, round the back and tuck the chin to the chest. And then we come again. Inhale, coming up onto your knees, hands behind the hips, lower back, sacrum area. Push the hips forward, lift the chest bone, arch back, look up, breathe. And then slowly sitting down, hands onto the knees, round the back, chin to the chest. 2 more. Inhale, come up, hands against the lower back, hips. Lift the chest bone, push the hips forward, arch back. Elbows together, squeeze the belly in. Slowly sitting down, hands onto the knees, round the back like an angry cat, chin to the chest, squeeze the belly in. And then last time, lift. Hands around the sacrum, elbows together, hips forward, chest to the sky, arch, look back, just a little bit longer. And then sitting down, hands onto the knees, round the back, chin to the chest, suck the belly in, suck the ribs in. And then come back up, side plank. Step the left foot out. Come into your T shape. We've been here before. Activate the fingers and the palms. Take an inhale, and then on the exhale, place your right fingertips to the floor or maybe on a block. I'm actually going to work with the block now. We inhale, reach the left fingertips towards the right. And then on the exhale, come back up and leaning to the left. Right arm to the left, looking under the armpit. Inhale, back into side plank, with left arm to the right. And then exhale, back up, leaning to the opposite side. Feel this. Inhale. And then exhale. Try to do the breath really slow, so your movement can be slow as well. And if you can't synchronize the breath with the movement, don't worry about it. Don't stop breathing. Don't stop moving. Let's do one more. Inhale. And then exhale, coming down. Excellent. I'm going to turn the toes out a little bit and the back foot, so the foot on the floor, I'm going to pivot it towards behind me. So my hips is now facing up towards the sky and the chest is pointing up towards the sky as well. Hand behind the head. We take an inhale, arch the spine, point the chest bone, belly button to the ceiling, and then on the exhale, exactly the opposite. We're going to hunch and place the elbow towards the other elbow. Inhale, come up, open chest and belly button to the sky, and then exhale, elbow to elbow rounding. Few more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And then exhale. One more. Inhale. And then exhale. And then arm to the sky, back into side, and then both knees to the ground. Camel again. Sitting, kneeling down, hands behind the sacrum. I'm actually going to turn around for this one so you can see exactly what I'm doing with my spine. So camel, a beautiful back bend, hands just below the lower back, at the bony area, at the bottom of the spine. Elbows together, take an inhale, squeeze the belly, lift the chest bone, hips forward, arch back. Elbows together, chest bone to the sky. One more breath. And then we sit down onto the heels, hands onto the knees, round the back, of the chin to the chest. Once more. Inhale up, push the hips forward, lift the chest bone, arch. Hold it here, maybe just for just one more breath. And then sitting down. Let's do 2 more, round the back, suck the belly in, chin to the chest. Inhale, come up, hips forward, squeeze the belly, arch back, look back. Sitting down. Round the back, and the very last one. Inhale. Lift the chest, hips to the front, elbows together. Hold it here for one more. And then sitting down. Round the back, sucking. And then coming back. Again, make sure that your knees are always comfortable. Now working on the right side, so stepping the right foot out. Arms in T shape, palms facing down. Spreading through the fingers. Taking an inhale, and then on the exhale, we're going to come into side plank. Fingertips to the floor, or maybe using a block. We take an inhale, reach that right arm towards the left, nice open chest. And then on the exhale, coming up and leaning to the other side. Keep the chest open. Inhale, back to side plank. Squeeze that leg, the right leg, and then exhale, coming up, left side. Inhale, stretching out the right side. Fingertips to the left. Exhale to the right. 2 more, inhale. And then exhale. And then inhale. And we hold it here. So again, I'm just going to move the toes a little bit out. This foot be just underneath me as well. Pivoting it out so I can turn my hips and the chest towards the ceiling. This is a slight back bend. I'm going to place my right fingertips behind the head. I take an inhale and arch, really offering my chest to the sky. Maybe the head drops back. And then exhale, I'm doing exactly the opposite, rounding the back, bringing one elbow against the other. Inhale, open the chest, arch, look up. And then exhale, rounding elbow to elbow. Inhale, open up, arch. And then exhale, elbow to elbow. Inhale. And then exhale, 2 more. Inhale. And then exhale. Let's do the last one. Inhale. And then exhale. Arms to the sky. Back into side. And then release. Okay. We're going to come into a tabletop position. Just bring the knees and feet together. Sit back onto your heels. Child's pose for a couple of breaths. Relax the forehead to the ground. Release the arms. Close the eyes. And just notice the breath once more. It's probably got a little bit faster, a little bit shallower, which is absolutely normal. And you feel probably a little bit warmer than when we started the session. If you feel that you need to open the mouth to cool down, do so. You can also squeeze the teeth together and breathe between the teeth. That will help you to cool down, like. And then slowly make your way into a tabletop position. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We're just going to do a couple of cat and cow stretches. On the inhale, we're going to arch the spine, soften the elbows, and then drag the chest bone in between the hands and the arms to the front. Then on the exhale, round the back, tuck the tailbone under, chin to the chest. Few more of this at your own pace. Inhale to arch, maybe looking up if that feels good in your throat. And then exhale back. One more. And we're going to curl the toes under, and we move into downward facing dog, lifting the knees, lifting the bum. And then we can take a little walk in down dog, shaking out the head. Make sure that the fingers stay spread. Make sure that L shape between the thumb and index finger stays connected and rooted down to the floor. Keep lifting the bum up towards the sky and working the heels closer and closer to the floor. Then walk the hands to the back of the mat, to the toes, arriving in a forward bend. Then place opposite hand onto opposite elbow and bring the upper arms in line with your ears. And we're just going to take an inhale, lift halfway into a flat back. So if you have a look up, then you can see that my spine is straight. I'm not rounding, I'm lengthening. And then on the exhale, we release. Inhale, halfway lift, flat spine. And then exhale and forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat, straight. You could place a teacup on your back. And then exhale and forward. Make sure that the knees are soft. 2 more. Inhale, halfway lift.
Exhale and fold. Upper arms stay in line with your ribs. One more. Inhale. And then exhale. Release the arms. And then very slowly roll yourself up, vertebrae by vertebrae. The last thing to arrive will be the head. Excellent. So we're gonna do this forward bend, not the straight back, but actually the way we came up, that's the way we're gonna go down now again, and we're gonna practice it a couple of times. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna roll down, starting with your head. Make the head very heavy, chin to the chest, and then very slowly, neck, upper back, everything follows. You can always soften the knees if you feel you're very much restricted in the back of the leg. Very slowly, inch by inch. Remember that your head, shoulders, and arms are heavy like lead. No rush. Let go as much as you can. And then on the way up, exactly the same, opposite way, soft knees still. And then start to lift to the lower back, inch by inch, mid back, vertebrae by vertebrae. Slowly shoulders, slowly back of the neck. And then the head. One more. Heavy head. Start with chin to the chest, let go. And then the neck, shoulders, shoulder blades, mid back. Make sure your knees are soft. Moving lower towards the lower back. Let go of your arms and your shoulders and the head. And then slowly the hips. Let it all fall down. Relax the head. And then all the way back up, nice and slowly, no rush. First the hips come up. Then the lower back. Slowly the mid back. Shoulder blades. Shoulders. Neck. And the head. Excellent, this is lovely. Okay, a little bit more flow now. So we're gonna do some walkouts, which is basically a forward bend. You're gonna walk yourself into a high plank, and then you're gonna walk yourself back and stand up. There will be a couple of modifications, and I will be talking you through it. So we'll start. We take an inhale, arms to the sky, reach high, and then on the exhale, soft knees, fold forward. Then walk your hands to the top of the mat. You arrive in a high plank. Now one variation is this one, you hold it here for a breath. The other variation is let you drop the knees to the floor. Make sure not to push back. You keep the shoulders over the wrist. Another option is, if you want to make it really difficult, you're going to walk the hands even more forward into a dish pose. You suck the belly in and you lift your shoulder blade. Wherever you are after this, you're going to walk the hands back to the back of the mat. And then very slowly rise up. 3 more of this. You choose which variation you would like to do in your high plank. It's absolutely up to you. Inhale, arms to the sky, reach high. And then exhale, soften the knees, fold forward. Start to walk up nice and slowly. Holding it in your high plank, whichever modification, variation that is. And then slowly walk yourself back. If you need to, you do that on your fingertips. And then roll yourself back up. 2 more. Inhale. And then exhale, folding forward. Walking yourself out into your variation of your high plank. Squeeze the glutes, lift through the shoulder blades. And then slowly walking back. So in your high plank, you want to be stiff as the plank, whichever variation you're taking. Use your legs to hold you up. 1 more, inhale. And then exhale. Walking the hands out. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the thighs, lift through the shoulder blades. And then start to walk yourself back. Relax the head,
Slowly coming all the way up. Oh, excellent. And we're gonna come back now into a dog pose. On the next inhale, bring the arms to the sky. Exhale to fold forward. From here, walk yourself into a high plank. Drop the knees or do a chaturanga and lower down. Inhale for your cobra pose, elbows in, shoulders down. And then exhale, we meet in downward facing dog. Once again, we're gonna do some movements here. So feet about hip width apart. You're gonna lift the heels, push your chest towards the thighs and the bum to the sky. You're gonna step the right foot out to the right side, outside of your hand. You can drop the knee to the floor or keep it away from the floor and take the right arm to the sky for your twist. Then hands to the floor, stepping back into down dog, bending the knees, chest to the knees, bum to the sky. Other side. Left foot to the outside of the left hand. You can drop the back knee down, raise the left arm to the sky, and twist. Hands to the floor, step back into downward facing dog, bend the knees, bum to the sky, chest to the side. And then again, right side, right foot to the right hand, right arm to the sky. Hands to the floor, step back down dog, bend the knees, push back. And now the left side, foot to the outside of the left hand, left arm to the sky. Hands to the floor, step back down dog, bend the knees, push back. And right side again, foot to the outside of the hand, right arm to the sky, twist. Hands to the floor, step back, bend the knees, push the chest to the knees, bum to the sky, left side. Arm to the sky, twist and reach. Hands to the floor, step back, down dog, bend the knees, push your armpits, chest towards the knees. And then right side again, right foot to the outside of the right hand, right arm to the sky, twist. Hands to the floor, step back, down dog, bend the knees, push back. And then the left side, reach the arm to the sky, twist as much as you can. Hands to the floor, step back, bend the knees, push the chest towards the knees. One more. And then the right side, arm to the sky, reach back. Hands to the floor, step back down, dog, facing dog. And then drop the knees, sit back onto your heels, walk the fingers forward, and relax the head. Come back into the table, into tabletop. Back into downward facing dog. From here, make your way into high plank, shoulders over the wrist, walk the feet back. You can drop the knees to the floor if you like. And then slowly lower down to the floor, arriving on your belly. Place the hands underneath the forehead. And just taking a couple of breaths here. Maybe you want to shake out the bum. We're going to continue with some back bends. And the first back bend will be locust pose. Keep the forehead on the ground or the chin on the floor and reach back with your arms. Your palms are facing down. Press down through the pubic bone and straight away squeeze the thighs and lift the knees towards your hips. Your toes are pointing back. Then on the next inhale, lift your chest, your arms, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and lift your legs away from the floor. Press down through the pubic bone even more, eyes to the top of the mat, lengthening through the back of the neck. Take another breath, and then slowly release. Hands underneath the forehead, and just shake out the bum, loosening out the lower back. We do it one more time, exactly the same. Now, if you would like to change arm variations, another way to maybe work on the shoulders a little bit is to interlace the fingers behind you. If you don't If it's not comfortable for you, you can use a strap between the hands. So there is more space between the hands. You have more access to the shoulders and to this lift and opening the chest. The shoulders up, shoulder blades together. You're reaching the arms behind you. A little softness around the elbows. Straighten the knees, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the thighs, and on the next inhale, rise. Reaching back with your hands. If your hands are clasped, then lift them away from your butt. Try to lift your belly button and the thighs. Look to the floor. Long neck. One more breath. And then release. Place one cheek to the floor. And then turn the head, stretching out the other side of the neck. Okay, and then half bow pose. Place your right forearm onto the ground. Feet are, for me, I like to have them a little bit wider. I'm not very bendy in my lower back, so when the feet are together, it feels even tighter, even more restricted in my lower back. So right forearm on the ground. You're gonna find a nice way to position the forearm, maybe when you come into the pose, but you really wanna use it as leverage. So this is, like a tripod. Stand for your camera. It will help you to lift. It's also going to encourage you to use your arm because you don't want to collapse. You're going to bend the left knee and take hold of the left foot. If you can't reach to it, you might be able to reach to your bottom of the trousers, leggings, or place a strap around the ankle and take hold of the strap instead. Doesn't matter. The main thing is that you reach back and you can reach to it in some way. So we're going to keep lifting away from the floor. That right arm is active. We then push the foot away from us and then slowly lift the knee, which will help us to open the chest even more. Keep the right leg active as well. So the right side is just as active as the left. Pushing the foot away from you, which opens the chest, and lifting the knee, maybe just slightly away from the floor. One more breath. And then slowly release. Maybe placing the forehead to the ground or onto the hands. Just shake out the butt again. Other side. This time placing the left forearm onto the ground. And then again, you might want to move it a little bit after you came into the position. But make sure you're not collapsing into the shoulder. Your ear is away from the shoulder. Bend your right knee and take hold of the right foot. Or maybe the bottom of the leggings, or maybe you're using the strap again. Doesn't matter. The left side is active. So you keep that left leg active, actively pushing down. Lift through the shoulder. Then press the foot away from you. And then lift the knee. And we hold it here. Feel the pubic bone pressing down. Your chest is open, lifting away from that left shoulder. Lift your right knee. And then release. Lowering down. Shake out the bum. So we're going to do one more on each side. You can do exactly the same variation. Or you can make it a little bit harder by using not just the bendy side when we are bending, but the opposite side as well to create length and even more action. So for this one, you're going to extend your right arm to the front. Bend the left knee, take hold of the left foot. Actually, you can start with your elbow bent. And then start by pushing the foot away from you, lifting the knee. Then you reach your right arm forward and reach the right leg and the right arm away from you. Lift both knees away from the floor. Both sides of the body are active. Lift. And then release. Shake the bum. Other side. So pressing the pubic bone to the floor, instantly activating the glutes, the thighs. Reach back, take hold of the strap or your right foot. Then press the foot into the hand, lift the knee. Activate the left side even more. And then reach your arm, the left leg away from you. Lift. Keep pressing the foot into the hand. One more breath. And let it go. Shake it out. And then all we do is we're just going to turn around onto our back. Bring the right knee into the chest. Hands underneath the knee or maybe behind the thigh. And then very gently start to guide the knee towards your armpit. So keeping the right knee close to the chest, keep your left hand on the right knee and bring your right arm onto the floor into a T shape. Then with your right hand, guide that right knee towards the left side, allowing yourself to come into a twist. Chest bone facing upwards, right knee to the left. This is really nice after back bend, and we've done loads. With your hand, you can just guide the knee closer to the floor. Bring the knee back to center. Hug the knee once more into the chest. And now bring the foot in line with your knee. Now you can hold it like this with your right hand at the back of the knee. Your left hand comes onto the top of the thigh, the left side, just to make sure that your hips are level. So they are both sides of the hips, the back of the hips are pushing down, and you're hugging the knee towards the armpit. Half happy baby pose. Otherwise, you can reach your right hand around the sole of the right foot, and then that way pull the knee towards the armpits, towards the floor. I mean, ideally, we want to have the ankle and the knee in one line, but if that doesn't work, you can have the angle that is behind the knee, maybe a little bit smaller, doesn't matter, but make sure that there's no discomfort around the knee. And let go of the foot. Place the leg back to the ground. Bring the left knee into the chest. Hug it in towards your armpit. Just hold it here for a second. At the same time, you can notice how your breath suddenly is becoming much calmer, longer. Try to focus on the exhale. This is the end of the practice, and we start to unwind and release. The exhalation is exactly about the same thing. It's about letting go. Keep your right hand on the left knee and then draw the knee across the body, coming into your supine twist. The left arm can be in a T shape or anything comfortable. And then guiding slowly the knee to the floor. It's usually on the exhale when we are moving closer to the floor, when we are coming into a deeper expression of the pose. And then draw the knee back to center. Just for a couple of breaths, pull the knee back towards the armpit. Then bring the foot in line with your knee. You can keep the hands behind the knee and then pull the leg towards the armpit. Then place the right hand onto the top of the right thigh, just to make sure that you're not tipping over to the left. You keep the hips or sit bones pressing down. Otherwise, reach the left hand onto the sole of the left foot, in or outer edge of the foot, doesn't really matter. And then with the strength of the arm, start to pull the knee towards the armpit down to the floor. Again, ideally, we want to have the ankle over the knee, but if it's a different angle, don't worry about it. When we are doing this kind of work where you're stretching yourself and you're working here and, well, partially obviously the muscles, but also the joint, you want to be relaxed. You don't want to brace yourself. You don't want to shake. So working at a level where you're comfortable, you still feel the pose, but you're not overdoing. It's very different when we are doing strength work and you want to push yourself a little bit more and you feel your muscles firing up and maybe a little bit shaking as well. But we definitely don't want to feel that way here now. And then slowly release. Okay, just shake out the legs and we're going to do a full happy baby pose just to finish off the practice. We're going to bring the knees towards the armpits. And like I said, one variation is to have the hands behind the knees and you're pulling the knees towards the armpits, but at the same time, you're pushing down through the sit bone. We want to have the whole length of the spine on the floor. The other variation is to have the feet in line with your knees and your hands come onto the sole of the feet. And then allow those knees to melt down even more. But don't forget that your tailbone wants to push down to the floor, even if it doesn't reach totally to the ground. You have this line of energy from the tailbone down to the ground. Heavy head. If your head wants to lift up, just place a block or a pillow underneath so it can be supported. Let go of the feet. Place the legs down to the floor. Extend them to the back of the mat. Make sure that they are comfortable. Your trunk and arms are also comfortable. Arms beside you, palms facing up towards the sky. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And then open the mouth, sigh it out, close the eyes. Make sure that you're warm enough, comfortable enough. I'm going to stay here for a couple of minutes to cool down and relax. Very slowly bring your attention back to the breath, back to the body. Make little movements with your fingers and toes, hands and feet. Start to roll the head from side to side. The next inhale, reach the arms over the head, stretch out. Then hug the knees into the chest, roll over to one side. Maybe using the lower arm as a pillow under the head. And very slowly sit yourself up. Taking a comfortable seated pose with your eyes still closed, sitting upright and tall. Bring the hands into prayer. We take one last breath together. Inhale. Exhale, side out. Bow down. Namaste. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop the recording.